place to ensure that when ad hoc services are requested, it is done properly. Now, the way it reads now, that's not what it says.
We have put controls in place, correct, Commissioner, and also a procedure or process in how you will request or acquire ad hoc services.
To ensure that there's no abuse.
Yes, 100%, Commissioner Khumalo, 100%. Also to ensure that when you require ad hoc, or we have a requesting department, say if it's water and sanitation, for example, you request to us, TMPD. TMPD will go do an assessment in terms of what your request is. And based on our risk assessment, we will then obviously reply to you, or we will obviously reply to you, or we will add. However, it will come from your budget. It will not come from a budget that I must request additional again. So that is the procedures that we also have put in place.
I understood the problem, though. I think both when Sergeant Gossi was testifying and also when Commissioner Spies was, or rather Deputy Commissioner Spies was testifying, that is, I understood the problem to be more with regard to who gets appointed to do the ad hoc services. I'm not so sure that the requests, the filling in of a form and so on address that problem. The problem is with the allocation. I know, based on what you said, that of course it would not be the TMPD that does the allocations. But I'm not sure to what extent this addresses the problem in the light of what the real problem is.
Are you referring to the
allocation?
The allocation from the 22 companies.
Is it GUBIS 85? GUBIS 85 is the entity that received the lion's share of all ad hoc allocations. That's why I say the problem appears to be with the allocations. So the filling in of the forms and so on, I'm not so sure to what extent, if at all, that addresses the real problem. Do you follow me?
Yeah. Do you want me to respond, Commissioner?
You actually, I think paragraph 49 of your statement does refer to the lion's share received by GUBIS 85. But right now, I'm addressing your attempt at addressing the problem, and I'm saying I do not see that assists in addressing the problem.
Commissioner, that was part of my one-on-one briefings with him. Although I'm just now touching on that as an example. As an example in terms of, because ad hoc was just ad hoc, and then invoices comes. I was just using that as an example.
Yes.
However, you are correct, Commissioner, Chairperson. We are looking at the entire food chain. We cannot just look into ad hoc into an isolation. The end of the food chain will be building completely in-house capacity. That is my ultimate goal. So we are working towards that goal, Commissioner. So you are correct, Commissioner. We're looking into each and everything.
Thank you.
The ad hoc service, this measure that you've put in place, that there must be an application or a form that requests. Surely when you have this discussion with Commissioner Spies, if he's the inventor of the
Yes.
idea, you must have discussed how you see it being a control mechanism. How, if it is implemented and it is implemented successfully, how does it work to be a control mechanism? And I think that's what the chair is trying to get out of you. Yes.
I think when it comes to the ad hoc, also the fact of that you need to look within your budget, because previously ad hoc was over and above, and then it must come from Team PD. So the COO is in charge of most of the infrastructure-related sites, let me put it that way. And if there is not a good enough reason for you to have ad hoc, you will not even apply for it. I can guarantee you, commissioners, since we put the measure in place, 1 or 2 we received and it was actually needed because of external whatever measures. We have not received requests for ad hoc. So that
And
alone
over-
tells me a lot.
Over how long a period was that? That is when you received only 2.
Since I've stopped it, Commissioner. Since I've stopped it, I think it was just over a year ago. It was just over a year ago,
Over a year.
12 March 2025.
Okay.
So,
And roughly how many of these, but I would imagine it was quite a lot. Roughly how many would these ad hoc services be requested?
Commissioner,
over-
if I come after this, it will go to that paragraph where
Okay.
I will say why I stopped it. I will also give the amount. I will just give the month.
Let's
It
perhaps-
was 37. I think it was 20 additional than it was supposed to for 1 month.
Yeah, no. Obviously, there is a significant reduction.
And-
If over a period of a year, there's only 2. No, thank you. Let me
So
not,
I only received 2, and it was definitely legit in terms of that it meet the criteria
Thank you.
why we should put additional. So that is why I'm saying that is already a control measure.
Yes.
Because we haven't received.
So the question of who these get allocated to, which is the question I asked you earlier, would be secondary, as it were, if you have this very significant reduction.
100% Commissioner,
All right, thank you.
100%.
Can I follow up on Chair's question? Are these security companies vetted? The security companies that the City of Tshwane, TMPD uses, are they vetted?
Commissioner, we've put a security committee in
Why
place.
are you scared to say yes
No.
or no?
I was just a security committee in place. The committee was supposed to be in place where you have SSA, you have the COO, you have obviously finance there. And when the unit came over, I saw that committee is not there. We immediately put that committee in place. And that is one of the things that we say the security companies must be vetted.
But are they? That's my question.
No.
Are they vetted? So
They
the
are not
short
vetted.
answer is no.
No,
to,
Commissioner.
to go back to Chair's point, on matters of tenders, those who benefit from tenders will obviously seek to create an environment for ad hoc services to continue. So if you've got a reservoir or other things, even if there was no criminal activity there, if they want you to deploy security there, people will do things, and I'm not accusing anybody, so please don't take this to mean that I'm making an accusation. But it's easy for somebody to create an environment that would necessitate the need for ad hoc services to be, required. That's why vetting is important. You must look at who owns these companies. You know, what kind of people are they? So are you going to take steps to put the committee back in place?
Definitely, Commissioner. Definitely. You are correct, Commissioner. And, that people can create. We are aware of that. That people can create maybe a situation, sabotage, let us call it sabotage, in order for you. And we've already put measures in place, especially with the reduction. We obviously expect that there's going to be a backlash. People are not going to just say, I experienced it March, the 12th of March, 2025. People are not just going to go say, oh no, it's fine, let us do something else. So I am well aware of that, Commissioner. And what we do, the regional policing that I alluded to, we make sure that where you have reservoirs that we know, you need to include it now in your plan as well. That is also part of my plan, Commissioner.
We know from the evidence of Deputy Commissioner Spies that there is a tender process now that is underway.
Yes.
The previous or your current service providers were appointed by way of an agreed court order.
Yes.
So vetting would not have even been a feature, it seems. In the current process, is there a requirement that for companies to be vetted, for the companies that are successful to be vetted? And is that, and I'm asking about the current tender process as what was advertised. Do bidders understand that they would be required to be vetted, and in addition, so that's one. Two, that it would be a disqualifier. Has a decision been made that it will be a disqualifier if a company is not successful, whatever that means, when it is vetted? And do bidders have they been made to understand that? Or is that your internal thinking and processes which have not been made public to bidders?
Commissioner, I think if we want to get this right, we cannot wait for another 3 years, for another tender, and then they take you to court for another 6 years. I think it's important that we this time do it correctly. You do know that the tender went for property, and then obviously the tender was not awarded, and that's why the process has been started, obviously from scratch now, where Deputy Commissioner Spies has been appointed also to run it from TMPD side. So I think, Commissioner, if it's not there, it should be included, Commissioner, definitely. As I said, we've got the committee, the security committee, and that was one of the recommendations from the security, actually from SSA, the person that's sitting there. Even before the committee, the commission, that is one of the recommendations. And it's already as part of our minutes that must be done, Commissioner. So I think we must just build on that, Commissioner.
If it is part of the recommendations already, one expects that it is part of the
100%.
current process,
100%,
the selection process that you are running, and bidders understand that you are going to apply that.
Yes, Commissioner, we will also use the minutes of that security committee
Yes.
as part of our terms of reference.
Okay.
Because that committee was appointed by the city manager.
Yeah, I guess I'm probing a different aspect of this, which is you do have the recommendation from that committee.
Yes.
And that recommendation has been approved, but that's an internal process. Whether bidders who submitted tenders in this new process, which is still subject to evaluation, whether the bidders who participate in that know that's one of the requirements to succeed to be awarded the tender or to be included on the panel, whether they know that's one of the requirements they must meet is really the question that I'm asking. And if you don't have an immediate answer, I'm happy for you to address it in a supplementary statement, or whoever's dealing with procurement and this tender in particular, if they're going to be testifying, that they should deal with that.
I would prefer that I add it to my homework, Commissioner Baloy.
All right.
And let me take responsibility for that as the Commissioner of TMPD.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner.
Because you see, Commissioner Faru, as you said earlier, you don't want criminals in the
No.
service. I had Chair correcting me that it's not a force, it's a service. So in the Metro Police Service, you don't want criminals. And you cannot in the same breath be comfortable with having security companies that have criminals in them looking after the municipality's properties and assets. Because it
Critical.
defeats the whole purpose.
Definitely, Commissioner, you are.
So
you are spot
to
on.
Commissioner Baloy's point, going forward, it is something that should be, you can't fix the past, but going forward, there's no reason you can have this as a requirement.
Definitely, Commissioner. You are correct, Commissioner. I agree with you 100%.
Thank you, Commissioners. I just wanted us to locate the statement for Commissioner Spies. It's in the small file. But you don't need to refer to it. It's just item 7 of that statement. We'll get to it later on, of that supplementary bundle. Commissioner Farrow, please proceed. So to
May I proceed?
Yes.
Thank you. If I'm correct, I'm at the top of D.
Paragraph
36.
32. Is it 36?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Thank you. You must focus, evidence leader. TMPD 02-2016/2017 Security Services. At the outset, I point out that tender TMPD 02-2016-2017 was issued, adjudicated and awarded before my time with TMPD. Bearing in mind, Commissioners, I only started 1st of October 2023. The tender was according to the award appointment letters managed by Director Malachi and Mr. Nava Pillay within the Asset Protection Unit when it was still under the Office of the City Manager. In this regard, I refer to Annexure YF3. As mentioned earlier, the unit was relocated under my control within the Asset Protection and Security Services Division from 1st July 2024, Commissioners, not 2025. Can I ask that be corrected?
Yes.
Thank you, Chairperson. In this regard, I refer to Annexure YF4. Moreover, by the time I was appointed, the procurement process has run its course. The tender started on 1st March 2022, based on a court ruling that was issued on 22nd of October 2021. And I know Commissioner Spies has actually went more into detail in that regard. That's why I do not wish to delve in the occurrences before my time and also prior to the APSS unit transferred to the TMPD. Where I comment, I rely on the facts again that have since come to light and or known to me. Put simply, I will provide a high-level background and comment meaningfully on what I discovered. In terms of tender TMPD 02-2016-2017, it relates to a tender issued for the TMPD for the supply of provision